some people are wired that they respond really, really well to, if you do this, this is what you could possibly lose for it. A clear risk system, or if you do this, I'll give you that. And I'm here. I love that. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Hang it. What's up, Josh? You settled, bro?
Yep, I'm good. Good to go.
Bro, you not on camera, but there he is. There he is. Welcome to the party, man. Dude, we're gonna have to get you a video set up, for the pod, bro. Like I'm gonna set my game up. I got a camera. Like we're on episode 11, bro. We need to like set up. We need to set something up.
We're getting there. I got you.
We'll get to it.
What's up with you with enrollment, man?
We're getting there. We're making it happen.
Wow, your tone is great.
I've had a bunch of different calls today. They've been enrolling in some ways. Some of them have been enrolling. Other ones have been like strategy type stuff. Had a call with Heather as well, so that challenge is extended.
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's refresh. Challenge. It's a refresh.
You got a new challenge.
I had to start over. So 5,500 by Friday. So let's get it. But yeah, overall it's going good. I know, right? Overall it's going good though. I still have to send off those emails, so I'm going to be doing that as soon as we finish here. I've noticed something yesterday though, just like the first day that when we were going over the email sequence, or not email sequence, but the email outreach, that antsy feeling that I get when I'm like, I just got to go to the gym or something. I realize that when that comes up, that's the time I need to like just sit my butt down, finish whatever it is that I'm doing, and just lock in at that moment, because that's where that area of resistance continues to live. And
what is that feeling? Put a name to it.
A name.
Yeah, give it words.
It's
that antsy feeling.
It's antsy. It's overwhelming. It's
keep going.
Impulsive.
Keep going.
Restless.
When does it show up?
It shows up when it's something that I need to do, but I don't want to do.
You don't need to do anything. You need to breathe.
I get to do.
Sleep.
When
it's something that is on your completion list. Like, this needs to be completed.
Yep.
I've committed to this. Okay. Yep. And you're telling me that it shows up then?
It shows up when I'm at a point of breakthrough or growth that goes beyond my current comfort level.
Interesting. That's curious.
Yeah, learning something every day. And I realized yesterday, when the feeling first came, just in full transparency for the listeners, when I first did the outreach with Desmond, I was feeling that way. And he's like, bro, you get to stay there and you get to figure it out. So I was at the office till 2:30 in the morning. That when I finally left, I felt very accomplished, very confident. Like, man, I it sucked, but I did it, man. We got it. Let's go. Yesterday, I realized that I had that feeling again, but I didn't notice it in that moment. I noticed it when I had gone to the gym. And the correlation is I'm noticing that anytime I get stressed out, I typically go towards fitness or the gym as my means of exerting that energy or releasing it. And I've used that. I think I've used that as a scapegoat for a very long time. So no matter what's going on in my business, no matter what's going on in my personal life, or whatever, anything outside of fitness has been probably the most stable thing, consistent thing in my life simply because, and I remember earlier when we asked about, what is that non-negotiable, or a couple episodes ago, that non-negotiable that I do every day is fitness. If I don't do that, my mind goes like, bro, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? Like, like, are you out of your mind? Like, you need to be in the gym. You need to be working out or walking, doing something. And I realized that maybe has become my place of comfort. Although it's a healthy comfort, but it's become my place of comfort when it comes to releasing something, or maybe even getting away or avoiding something that I know I have an opportunity to work through.
Are you open to some feedback?
Bring it on. Yes or no, bring it on.
I love it. It is, it really is a season for it, being that it's winter. Be mindful of the words you use. You just called one of your most stable, like, driving and balancing points a scapegoat. Are you kidding me? You've used it as a solution, maybe, but I'm surely not going to call it a scapegoat. I'm so not that. However, is it the most effective solution or the best solution for you now? Probably not. It's just not as effective as it used to be. But with as much of the positive that fitness and working out and being active and getting your heart rate up and sweating gets you, the benefits that it brings, there's no way you can call it a scapegoat. It's an oxymoron. Fair enough?
Thank you for the feedback.
You're welcome.
Yo,
I was like,
so funny.
damn.
I was going to comment on that as well, but I was going to do it from a different frame. I was like, dude, fitness is sick, dude. Like, I think fitness is great. And I can empathize with, like, wanting to escape, like, I get it, dude. Like, I get it. What my trigger, like what you described, is bouncing around places, right? There's days where I'm at like 5 cafes and restaurants. It's like, I can't sit still. Like, I got to keep moving. Like, that's my form of, like, but there's nothing wrong with it because it's changing my energy. Like, it's great, but it's like being, aware of it. But before I go in on James Clear's, I was going to ask you, like, dude, like, you have a great habit. It's just if you were to have a conversation with James Clear, right, in terms of you're forming a new habit right now, right? What do you think he'll tell you right now, based upon like how to create new habits? You remember anything specific from the book? If not, it's okay. I have something to reference and send to you.
I was going to say what stands out is maybe my belief system wrapped around the habit. I think that would be the thing that stands out to me.
Something like that, I guess. That's obviously internally with you, but just being externally looking in, like, I'm like, I'm just putting myself in your shoes, and actually, I am in your shoes and other areas of my life, and I'm just looking at like, where does what's the order of my habit, right? Like, if working out is something that you enjoy doing, then is it a cue or is it a reward or a create? Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe your cue might be like, oh man, I'm just bottle of energy, and I'm just like, oh, I got to get out of here. And then maybe your craving is like, you know what? I get to get this list done, right? I get to do this. I get to keep this promise to myself, right? And then the response is you just like dropping in and doing the and one more, right? Just because you have 10 on your list doesn't mean you do 10 and one more, right? Like, I love this from my personal trainer. Like, he's always like, we speak 2 different languages, and I feel like he counts numbers twice sometimes. I'm like, man, dude, come on, man, killing me, but it's worth it, right? So like, and one more, then you reward yourself at the gym. Now you've earned that gym, and now you're creating a new you're reprogramming your mind and your internal system.
You were right with what system that is.
Yeah, it's James.
Part of your endocrine system.
Yeah. Like your dopamine and your adrenaline. You know what I mean? Like, and then also like unconsciously, what to expect next, so you have certainty and just a bunch of positive things, man. So you're on the right track, bro. You just get to finish your stuff first.
You get to use it. You get to use it as a leveraging point instead of an escape.
Yep. There it is.
So I get to go, like, in the morning. Okay, so morning and evening rituals aside, Desmond put that on the list of things to do in the next, like, probably month. We need to cover morning and evening rituals, what a ritual is, for Christ's sakes. But morning and evening rituals aside, have to is like, I have to pick my kids up. I have to go to the doctor. Those things aside, like, my day's split up into 3 sections: morning, noon, and night. So I have an AM session, a midday session, and an evening session. And inside of those sessions, there's goals that have to be met. And when those goals are met, there's prizes for those goals. I'm just like anybody else, shiny rock high. You give me a cookie, I'll do whatever you want. Like, we're human. We are wired for that type of cause and effect. We're wired for, like, tell me I'm good, give me a cookie. Like, it's either a risk or a reward system. Does your mind naturally operate off of a fear-based ritual, which is, I'll get this done because I don't want to lose that, like losing privileges or getting rewards. Both of them are super healthy, mind you. I want to absolutely, like, preface the fact that from a psychological and mental health and business wellness standpoint, it's not a fear versus love. It's not a yes versus no, or a like versus hate. Like, some people are wired that they respond really, really well to, if you do this, this is what you could possibly lose for it. A clear risk system, or if you do this, I'll give you that. And they're absolutely the same. There's no difference. But we are wired to have a proclivity towards one or the other. Like, I'm a reward kid. My assistant she operated on a clear risk system. And I asked her, I was like, what are some of the things you are most fearful of losing? And you can go as fearful as you want, but I need a clear list of 5 things that you are worried about getting taken away from you that have nothing to do with your kids. And that's going to be that's going to be what happens if things don't go the way they're supposed to. She's never missed a call. Not once. You want to know what the risk is? She loses her ancillary time with me. That's what drives her. Her extra calls that are not about what she does for me, where she gets to talk and learn, that's what she wasn't willing to lose.
You just made me think about a topic of incentives drive behavior, so incentive structures and stuff like that, which is a whole other topic, but I'm adding that to the ball as well. Wow. I love building this podcast up. Like, we're literally, like, this is, like, so raw and authentic. Like, Josh, like, dude, you're gonna crush it this year, and, like, our audience is just gonna, like, witness you crush it, because we're gonna hold you high, and you get to just show up on the show, provide value, be yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's so beautiful, man. It's good stuff. Man, this is good stuff. So let's pivot into the topic of the day, right? I love the little introductory, talk, but, so I just want to kind of give you guys some background information on why I picked this topic because, so I was watching, okay, let me back up. So I'm finishing the Jim Collins book, Be Entrepreneur 2.0. And Heather challenged me with slowing down a little bit and, like, really taking a step back and looking at my life holistically. And so my filter of the world has been really about, like, how am I spending time? Like, what do I really value with my time? So time has been, like, a super, like, sensitive, thing that I'm consciously being aware of, like, very hyperly aware of, right? And I was watching this TV show last night, like, going to bed. I watch, TV to turn my brain off from work. And in the bed, Netflix, Disney, whatever, right? Whatever's hot. I'm watching a show called Doom Control, which is pretty, like, quirky, like, weird. It's kind of a shitty show, but it's good. It's so bad, it's good.
It's not shitty. It's weird.
It's super weird. It's one of the bad TV shows that's so bad that it's good. It's one of those, in my opinion.
Yep.
And one of the scenes where the lady, she was on the chair, and this dude, like, the whole season, this guy's trying to, like, have the courage to talk to his daughter. And he finally gets in the room with his daughter, and the guy who was raising her died, and so it's like a meeting, like community thing. And she mentions the thing like Carpe Diem, and I was like, I love that Latin phrase. Like I forgot about it. It was just like, wow, this like, so sorry guys, I'm getting excited because it's just like freaking gets me going. And so Carpe Diem, just kind of give you guys an idea, it's Latin for seize the day, right? Is used to urge someone to make the most of the present time and give little thought to the future, right? It can obviously be thought of in different ways, right? Depending on your own perspective. But I thought it was a really cool thing. And I wanted to talk about that today because time means differently from all three of us. And I'm super interested to kind of hear you guys' take on Carpe Diem and your interpretation of it and how it fits in your life.
Okay, so how much do you want to dial this down?
I want to dial this down. I want to dial this down to like, you got like 5 minutes. Just dial it down today.
I'm not going first.
You're not going first?
Nope.
All right, that's fair. Josh, you want to take a swing at Carpe Diem?
I mean, honestly, where I'm at in life, I'd say, especially centered around time, I mean, it means for me being more present rather than future focused, which is a hard thing for me. Or I'm sorry, it's not a hard thing for me. I've made it a hard thing for me in the past. Being more present, allowing myself to just really be more locked in and understanding what time is. I think that's one thing, a correlation that has really been enlightening me as of the last couple of months has been actually understanding what it means to, because how do I say it?
Stop and smell the roses?
Say that again?
To stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
And I think even diving deeper than that, one of the reasons why we don't stop and smell the roses is because we take for granted the fact that everything around the roses is actually is always going to be there. At least that's so we think. Meaning we're so young that we think we can never get old. We're so and then it's only when you're old that you realize like you're never getting any younger, And so it's realizing that how do I not take time for granted? Like just the concept of time. How do I not take it for granted? That's the one thing that like I've done for so long. I used to be late to everything. Desmond knows what I'm talking about. Have definitely, not been the most congruent with how I want to show up for people in that way. Of not being the most punctual and blaming it on cultural norms or whatever. And in doing so, I realized that all I've done is just I've hurt my own self. I've hurt my own belief system around time, and the sense of urgency that comes with it if you allow it to, and the way I believe that we should really approach our lives in or with the whole aspect of time. I've allowed, and in doing so, when you feel like you're rushing, you feel like you're playing catch up all the time. That's when you're really future focused because you can never be in the present because you're too busy trying to make up for time that you feel like you've either lost or time that you didn't spend wisely on preparing beforehand that then allows you to be present. So I think it's all about structure. It's all about framing. It's all about how you, like we were talking about before, the atomic habits, the belief system that you really have around time. And realizing that is like this second that just passed is never going to come again. For me, that's mind blowing now because before I'd hear that, I'm like, that's cool. That sounds cute. Cool, awesome. Put it in the song lyric or something. Now I'm like, oh wow, like that's never coming back. Like not from a place of scarcity, but from a place of more like, let me step into possibilities now that I know this. If I didn't know this before, if I didn't know this, it's one thing. But now that I'm enlightened to it, when you're exposed to something, you're expanded to something. And when you're expanded to it, it's hard to go back down to the thing previously that you that you felt that you weren't exposed to, or at least staying in that state. So now that I understand how valuable time is, I'm really being more intentional. I'm really it wakes me up in a different mood. Even if I'm groggy, even if I'm tired, I still understand that there's there's a reason for me being up right now. And so let me maximize that. Still get to work on the fine tuning of it all as far as like my daily schedule, productivity, but at least being able to understand the first part, which is how valuable time is. I feel like Carpe Diem really speaks to me in that way right now, as far as, hey, structure yourself right. That allows you to then be present. You don't structure yourself right, you're going to be running super fast and you're going to be so future focused that the present is essentially irrelevant.
Dude.
Well said.
Dude, so good. Yo, full disclosure, Josh, like I know I used to get on you with this. There would be times when you were late and I'd be like, bro, I want to fire you as my friend right now, bro. Like, damn, Josh. But it's all fun and games, man. I'm glad you had that epiphany, man, because it's huge, man. So Heather, I'll let you go last, so I'll interject a little bit slightly. And I'll go with so my relationship with time has been pretty radically crazy, like this like roller coaster where I would say I consider myself a workaholic or like a guy who just like relentlessly will work in like sheer willpower, try to get my goals or, you know, get things done. And so like I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like regular, be the first one in, and it was like a psychological warfare. Especially when I was in corporate, I will be like, even though I didn't have to go to the office, I would still show up and be one of the first people in there, work like already conquering the day, like, you know what I mean? Because I just wanted to like set the edge and set the example that, yo, mother effers, I'm here. Like I have arrived, right? Like some David Goggins stuff, right? Like I am here, I'm here to stay. You're not going to outwork me. Sit down, right? And I kind of transmuted a little bit in terms of like some of those traits have definitely still transmuted in my entrepreneurial journey where I'm like, you know, like I'm looking at my calendar, like I got a 20-minute gap here. What can I do there? Right? Like I got like, you know what I mean? Like I see gaps and I gotta like stack my whole day up, and that's pretty unhealthy. And I would say just really until recently, man, like I think towards the end of the year, you know, things, you know, when I took some time off where essentially my girl like booked us weekend stuff to do, like in the jungle where we don't have internet, I started to realize like, damn, like I work a lot, you know? And, you know, after stepping back now a little bit, just a tiny bit, and, you know, kind of, you know, just be more consciously aware that working on the business is equally as important for me in my stage as working still in my business, right? Like I'm still obsessed with fulfillment. I'm still obsessed with like getting people results and driving the line, but it's having that balance to like zoom out a little bit and want to appreciate the wins, right? Like for one client to go from like 150 to $1.4 million in a crazy year of like no social proof or nothing, like was like, man, that was pretty dope. I was like, man, that's dope, right? To, you know, have another one double is like, damn, that's pretty dope, right? To influence like, you know, over a dozen people's lives and like give them a skill that will make them money for the rest of their life. Like that was like, damn, that's some dope shit. And then it made me realize when I slowed down and reflected, it made me realize of like, wow, I just get to let this ride and double down. And like, this is in Jim Collins' book, but like, damn, how can I create like a business that lasts 100 fucking years, right? Like, how can I keep this going for like 100 years past me? How can I allow this past me? And the only way to do that is one, stay in the game, right? Make sure the business is healthy in terms of cash reserves, cash flow. And then number two, deliver such a great experience that you'll grow organically through word of mouth, right? Like I don't need to do any crazy marketing and invest. And even though I'm probably going to end up doing it eventually, maybe not this year, but like I don't need to hyperly, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to do all these things I think I need to do to grow faster. I don't need to grow faster. Like that was a big epiphany. Don't need to grow faster. Cool. I can grow slow as hell and be Intel, right? Of sales, right? I can be the Intel of sales, right? I don't need to be Tesla. I don't need to be NVIDIA. It's cool. They sexy and all, but I don't need to like grow that fast. I could just build a very long-standing business and allow my results to speak for themselves. Well, you know what I mean? So that was a huge breakthrough for me. And I'm still going through the breakthroughs, guys, full transparency, right? Like I am this whole month, I'm not signing no new deal, I'm not making no major business decisions. I'm not transferring like no kind of like, I'm not even paying myself this month. I'm not doing anything. I'm like detaching myself from the finance side of the business, making sure operations and fulfillment. And I'm just literally focused on like, what do I want to like long term? You know what I mean? Like I'm just like
All right,
I'm
interjecting.
All right, perfect. So
it's not what am I working on? It's what am I working toward? That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I'm just
what you're working on. Well, and that's just it. Like, I will tell you two things to be absolutely true in any conversation like this. Too much of anything is never a good thing. The lens in which you see the world, the lens in which you view your entire world, all of it from end to end through, has everything to do with how you perceive seizing the day. Now, for me, like, and we'll get into how you determine the lens you see the world through. But for me, I see the world through a lens of time. And like my viewpoint of the world is time is infinite. I've never been in a position or an experience where I didn't have enough time. Not once in my existence. It's because I don't choose it. It's not because there is too much of it or not enough of it, or I could do more or I could do less. I don't choose to not have enough time. So it doesn't exist. So when it comes to seizing the day and what that looks like I love Carpe Diem. It was one of the phrases when I was a lot younger. I contemplated tattooing on myself and then inevitably decided it was something that was too sacred to put in ink, but I was always going to put it in pencil. Always going to put it in pencil. Seize the day.
What? Can we get matching tattoos in Carpe Diem in different language? I'm joking. If we got it in Latin, would that count or?
Oh my God, you cracked me up. So Carpe Diem, like seizing the day, is something that I have always, for lack of a better way to explain it, I've always written it in pencil. Kind of like solidifying plans. If you set something in stone, it's unmovable. Whereas if you set an intention, it's flexible. So the concept, have to look for it because I know it was a private mastermind, but I did a keynote on what it means to conquer the day or seize the day. We use the word conquer, I'm pretty sure. But seizing the day or being intentional, being present, being committed, being in relationship with where you're going, not what you're doing. Because if you're in relationship with where you're going, what you're doing is a byproduct. Where you're going is the vehicle, and how you choose to get there is your intention. So how much deeper do you want me to go? Personal and professional? Like I could take this about 10 million different directions.
I know. Maybe we need to have multiple. Like I have a feeling this is going to be a future subject, especially when we have some guests on later. So let's take it to okay. So we've been talking about with Josh with his epiphanies around enrollment and time, right? I'm having some major epiphanies around time. So like being external and like looking at our situation. Let's have just some open air coaching right now. Let's take it that route. Let's make it like relative to us so that it's relatable and digestible for our audience.
Hey, what do you want coach on? Come on, Desmond, this is about you.
Oh, this is me? Oh, word.
Yeah.
Josh. So in terms of Carpe Diem, what would I need the maximum amount of support with?
Where do you feel like you struggle when it comes to seizing the day and shifting perspective on where you are the most?
I think it's regarding like flexibility and not having nothing on my calendar by far. Like we changed the podcast episode for in a couple of weeks to 2 hours earlier, and now I have this gap between when we're finished and when I'm usually done for the day. And I'm like, what the hell do I do at that time? Right? Like, I'm just like, well, I have 2 hours.
I got one for you.
Back.
Look at, so this is going to be a coaching telling moment. Look at everything that you have talked about being important and things that you have discussed wanting to be proficient in, new educational and interactional opportunities that you wanted, and slot what I call anything goes time. So I'm just gonna blow you out. Like, one of the things that you said you very much wanted to master this year was speaking, and we've never stuck you on a stage because we never needed to. There is no amount of sticking you on stage. You do not need to grow any faster. If you grow any faster, it'll kill you. Not what being in business for yourself is for. But so sticking you on a stage was never a necessary evil, and adding more travel into your nomadic lifestyle wouldn't give you necessarily any more or less joy. So this year, speaking is on the docket because you are intentional and curious and committed to mastering the art of speaking, the why behind it, what it causes, the impact that it can cause, the reach that it gets, and the amount of people that you have. So when it comes to speaking, anything goes. We'll get you a list of activities that you can do, I guess. Some of them are fun and some of them are hard. But you slot anything goes time and you go do how do I want to say this? It's like the implementation side of education. You're going to go put it into practice. Because education for you is so natural, necessary, and immediate that you've sorted and searched out every book you want to read, every podcast you want to listen to, every person you want to review, go over, emulate, and learn from and about. You did that when you decided you wanted to speak. That's where most people start. Most people say, oh, well, now I have this space, or what am I supposed to do to get better? What do I do when I'm pretty sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to? It's fill in the both and. If you're super strong in education, then practice implementation and execution. The implementation and execution is natural for you. Read a fucking book. But it is as simple as looking at your time. How do I want to spend it? And if you've got 5 days a week where you've got a 2-hour bubble that is now like floating in the wind, 2 days a week do implementation. One day a week, it is impromptu date night. And the other 2 days a week are intentional self-care, self-indulgence. There's your 5 days. You don't have any more time anymore.
I think that landed with the anything goes. I was like, damn, I think I needed to reframe that a little bit of you know what I mean? And I love writing, and I love reading, and I do it through the day, right? In terms of in between places, I listen to books and stuff. Yeah. In the morning, I'm up at 6 o'clock, and I try not to start my day until 9 now. Before it was good. 6 o'clock, 6:30, I'm on calls. Now it's I wake up at 6 every day. I give myself 3 hours to work out, eat, that's the difference though. That's the rituals and goals and rituals, how you start, how you structure. It's not what you put in your day, but it's how you do it. Your what could be, you could be shoveling dog shit. It's how you put your day together that makes all the difference in the world with how effective or ineffective your execution is, and your creativity and your thinking, your uptime, your downtime. I run a split rhythm. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the circadian rhythm. It's the natural highs and lows and peak times of your brain's processing. Okay. So a short version of that. I run on what we call a split circadian rhythm. Most people's two highest peaks are somewhere between 4 and 6.5 hours apart. So you have a pop, and then you have a lull, and then you have a pop, and then you have the end of the day. And then you sleep for 8 hours. Mine are 11.5 hours apart. So it's like a night day scenario. So I have 2 pops,
And there's some, I mean, it ranges from like 10 to 11 and a half hours apart, where I have 2 spots in the day where my brain fires fastest, most effectively. It's like that crack time for entrepreneurs where you're like, nope, I can get 25 things done. You try to do the same 25 things in the middle of the day and it'll take you 2 weeks. So those pops in my day, because they're so far apart. And yeah, if I was really bothered by it, there are quite a few different processes that are out there that you can do to shift it. But realistically, you can only shift it so far. And I was just wired that way. And so I structure my day just like that. I have a morning, an afternoon, and an evening session. My afternoon session also has a 2.5-hour nap in it. I take a 2.5-hour nap like 5 or 6 days a week, easily. Every single one of my days has quote unquote Netflix and chill time. Mind you, I'm home by myself. So I really do mean like binging Netflix. Every single day I have it in my schedule to fuck off and watch TV. Because I can and I need it. My brain's like, if I pushed myself to that constant limit on execution tasks all the time, I wouldn't be here. Now my Netflix time is also in a place where my brain's like, I need a break. And it's very determined length of time. So it's effective. And it course corrects the need to be like, oh, but I want to go do. Oh, but I want to I'm just going to finish this movie and then I'm going to do. Good Lord, the things we put off today to do tomorrow would kill an entire nation. But it's not what's in my schedule. It's how I put my schedule together, how committed I am to it staying exactly where it's supposed to be while still being flexible enough to account for emergencies, like 6 hours at the vet. That was fun. And we accounted for it and shifted. And then how committed you are to staying on target. On what you're doing. Are you committed to doing whatever it is that's there? Doing it in its like fullness. Like I completed X, go. Completed X, go. All right, rant over.
Well, full disclosure, I just like changed my calendar around, like added that anything goes time. I moved. It just feels so much better right now. I'm like, oh man, this is orgasmic. Okay. In terms of yeah, it's good, some good stuff. Yeah, this is good stuff. And it's great that we're actually doing this, moved it up because it's squeezed out my calendar and it's like forced it, you know what I mean? And now I actually have time to go to the spa if I want to get a massage or if I want to like go get another workout in, I have enough time to go to stuff while it's open, if that makes sense. Because usually when I'm done, it's close. You know what I mean? So I actually can enjoy life a little bit. So I'm stoked. This is going to be a great year. Josh, what about you, man? You got anything that you want to, unpack regarding Carpe Diem or what's up?
I think the only thing that comes to mind, I feel like she hit it for the most part. Yeah, my mind is like, I wasn't expecting all that. Woo. I would say, I guess maybe following up on that, I know, because I'm very much like that as well. I'm a workaholic, and I think the story that I play in my head all the time is, grew up with a very traditional Texas dad where everything was, a man that doesn't work doesn't eat, and so I'm always like, all right, man, let's figure this out. Let's nose to the pavement. Let's figure this stuff out. Let's keep going. And I've been that way with football or other sports. Been that way, just my entire life. I've always I've done everything from outworking, and I realize when it comes to my schedule, I think that's one reason why I've always had resistance up until this year. I'm being very intentional about my schedule and keeping it. Up until then or recently, it's been one of those things where my schedule would be very sporadic. And so that was the excuse that I would make as to not holding a schedule, not being present, and just letting the day kind of fly by, which felt like I was very, cluttered, and, just nothing was really laid out in front of me. I think now I even tell myself the story, kind of like not the same narrative, but they go hand in hand, of that, I have to keep working. I have to keep busting my butt. Things aren't looking the way I want it to look in my business. So because of that, like, let me just go balls to the wall, 6-7 days a week, figure this stuff out, when I know deep down I need that, that power nap midway through the day. I've learned, for me, it's 22 minutes and I'm good. Anything over 22 minutes, anything lower than 22 minutes, like, it throws me off. It's really weird. But around like 12:30, I know that that's what I need, is like a quick power nap. Besides that, it's, like you said, like an unplugging of sorts, like at night, for instance, before I go to bed, just like unplug and watch Netflix. But then I also feel guilty because I'm like, I'm not reading a book going to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what is going on with you? So it's like, how do you shift from the hustle culture, grind mindset in that way, where because essentially I'm coming from a different place than Desmond in my business, so it's like, how do you shift for people that are out there that feel like they're within the first year or so in their business, and they're still at like the ground level, not even launching yet, for the most part, or at least in the vision that we have. How do you set your schedule up to be more present, to seize the day, to seize the moment, while you're also being able to live life while you're building? I think that's something that I literally go through every single day in my head, and I just kind of just let my day, take over whatever that definition is going to be for that day.
All right, I got a challenge for both of you. It's so fun. I love these things. I challenge both of you to find out what your rhythm is. So you're going to have to track it for 30 days. And for those of you who want to do this, like, literally open up Google and type Circadian Rhythm Tracker. It's a spreadsheet, not rocket science. Super easy. But track it. Desmond, I'm pretty sure you have access to 6 Steps, which has the workbook in it. And if you don't, then let's find it. Because I taught this. I taught the circadian rhythm and how to streamline anything, like how to be effective with time and time management and stuff like that, as a case study a few years back. But the challenge is, track your circadian rhythm. What is it? And when are you most effective? When you're most effective, do your schedule operating around knowing those things, like what you know about that makes all the difference in the world. And put anything goes time every single day for the next 14 days and then tell me how you feel. Because I will tell you what, Josh, the hustle culture, that cute little hustle culture, was a linguistic fad that is a crock of shit.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's, in my opinion at least, it's when
it sucks.
Yeah, and when I realize that when I stay in that mindset, I do 2 things. I compare myself to everyone else, and I live in nothing but scarcity. I mean, like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I don't have this. I don't have that. And then it's like self-sabotage, self-doom in a way. It's like, dang, bro, you're not doing enough. Whatever. Just go home and just soak in the fact that you're not doing enough. Watch the winners win while you're sitting here just, whatever. So I realized that it really is especially in the creative space. I will be honest about that. It is extremely popular because you see so many people on YouTube, and I'm talking about people that I even know YouTubers and influencers that are making $300,000 a month just from their YouTube channels alone, and they're still stuck in hustle culture, comparison mindset, just that hamster wheel of a cycle. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, people are looking at you for your videos and getting inspiration from. How in the world are you, feeling like you're inadequate compared to everybody else that's out there? It's absolutely crazy. But I also realized as well, one of my shifts, especially for this year, and like the intention that I'm setting about, really in my business, on my business, focusing on sales and marketing for this year, and not focusing on simply the production aspect, and, allowing myself to empower other creatives to really to carry out the story that we're telling. I realized that when I was in the technical aspect of like editing or something of that, my flow would always be at 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I would not get any sleep and I would burn out that much faster, which meant that creativity was already depleted. So the next morning I woke up when I knew I had to do outreach. I use that as the excuse as to why I would procrastinate and not do outreach. It's just funny to hear you say that, because I'm like, wow, like I knew it too. You can talk to almost any creative. They'll be like, oh yeah, I get my juices start flowing around like 2 a.m. I'm like, I think there's a reason for that. Like maybe we need to. Part of
it does have to do with creative. It is genetic. It's absolutely true to form. And it means nothing. You need to know it. It's knowledge you need to acquire. But just because your juices are flowing at 2 a.m. doesn't mean you need to do anything about it. Like as it stands right now, like currently I'm in a relationship. When I'm in a relationship, I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, am a lot less likely to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Zach and I go to bed at 11 because he works in the morning and that's what he likes to do. He doesn't like to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't like to feel like shit at work. I also don't work in the morning. I work during the day, but I don't work in the morning. And I adjusted to that for that very reason. It has to do with how you set yourself up. It's never what we do. Never what we're up to. It's how are you going to execute it? Because I consistently attempt to, take over the universe, go to space, and find a unicorn. I want all the things. And it's not going, am I planning a unicorn lookout? Am I starting to work on a rocket? It's what am I working towards? What am I looking forward to? And why? Why am I doing it this way? Stopping and really asking yourself, why do I execute like this? If it's not working or it's causing something else, is that cause and effect enough to change it?
I have a side note. I'm so in love with my calendar right now, guys. This is so cool. It feels so much better adding anything goes. Like I just feel my like anxiety, like in terms of like, what do I have to put there? I gotta make money. I gotta get this bread. But yeah. So stoked. But I think today was a great episode. We'll do a quick little crypto. We'll wrap up with a quick crypto update. So I guess a lot of things. One, I'm about to buy some more NFTs. It's 2022, Heather. So
you're about to what?
Purchase some more NFTs that I have my eye on.
February.
I have my eye on these. I'm already. It's already the money's in my MetaMask wallet already. Like I'm already ready to pull. Man.
Okay. So are we not clearly looking at the things that we're saying, or are we just not following what we're saying? Because let it ride in January and buying NFTs are not the same thing.
In my mind, letting it ride was like whatever I planned, I was going to do. Like I'm not overthinking it. That was my interpretation of letting it ride.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
This has been in my wallet for like a month.
I'm just finding out about it different.
No. These things I've been like.
What are you buying?
Yeah. Kangaroo Heroes. The reason why I'm excited to buy this is because it's like a tax utility. So this dude, Prince Donnell, he's on Instagram. You guys should check him out. He has like 800,000 following. He's a pretty smart business in terms of he franchised his tax services. So he has like tax offices all around the country. He's growing pretty rapidly. He's really big in personal development. He provides a ton of value. And he's definitely someone that I want to do business with in terms of just being in the same room to like, you know what I mean? I consider myself in the same level, right? And he's taken the lead in a brick and mortar business to like bring NFTs and he's really doing something good for the culture in regards to like getting people set up in crypto who never, this is going to be a lot of people's first project. Yes. And I think literally from the money perspective, like the $300 I'm going to spend on a mint, I'm going to make it back in 2 months in fees. Like, because I'm going to hire them to do my, so I need help with like, cause I'm traveling the world right now. So I'm like, I need to figure out like, my tax situation and like for businesses, like I just need to figure this shit out. So I'm like, well, why not, support someone who's interested in the same industries. I vibe with them on an energetic level. And I want to and he's only doing 5,000 period. Like there's never going to be another. And I'm just betting on his brand as well. So I was pretty enrolled. It's something I'm already doing it. Like it's happening. Like it ain't, there was like something if I could do it sooner, I would. And then the other thing I have my eye on, which is not coming out to February. Okay, cool. What's coming out this month, which is called Invisible Friends, which we'll probably do a separate episode on. But I really want to buy that for the personal brand. I love the art. And I see it being a huge brand booster in the long run in terms of the word of mouth and the virality of being a part of that community. Like it's very, in terms of quality and like wanted in the space, it's very much like, in my opinion, going to be in that league of like a blue chip NFT, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, Doodles.
Okay, so first pause is I want you to actually like introduce the NFT itself, what it is, and how it works. This is what people are like. A lot of us, like we're just as bad about it. We'll talk about NFTs. We talk about all of the value adds that we see from a lens that has already had their basic crypto, education. Like, tell them what this is, why it's important, and how it functions. It's super awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So Invisible Friends are like these gifts of like, there's so much hidden meaning. Like it's like these pieces of art that's like really well high quality in its movement. So it's like this loop. And from a creative perspective, Josh just wanted to go, I sent this over to, I was like, man, being a creative, like this is sick. Like there's so many different like types of derivatives that can be spun off from the art, right? Because it's just so dynamic, right? Because it's like, you could do like quick TV shows, you can do magazines, you can do like, not magazines, but comic books, you could do, collaborations with fashion, right? There's just all these different things. And the design is like really, 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 really good. So like, imagine like, I look at it as like, imagine like buying like a piece of Toy Story, right? With Steve Jobs and Pixar. Right? Like I look at it as something like that. Like I'm buying a piece of an animation intellectual property that can be repurposed for any of my commercial use, but there's also going to be 9,000 other entrepreneurs, creatives, designers, agencies who's also going to participate. And if they create derivative spinoffs for, intellectual property from their commercial rights, it brings value to the entire project, right? So and that's not even including if the original project doesn't create their own like streaming, intellectual property. So it's almost like me buying this NFT is me betting on that. I'm betting on the community, and I'm betting on that the project is something's going to spin out of it that's going to raise the intrinsic value of having this NFT, right? This particular one. Like I'm betting on the creative community. So I think it's just so many there's so many different possibilities. And I want my personal brand, to be associated with this brand because it's going to spread with it's already viral, right? So they have like 200,000 followers. Like they haven't even have a Discord yet. They have 200,000, close to 200,000 people on Twitter and haven't even released it yet, right? So I'm going to be able to tap in to that brand, and marketing is everything. There's people spending sorry, I got to unpack this because you got to understand the business case. If you're an entrepreneur on this podcast, listen to this. You know that acquiring customers is expensive, right? Technically, you are essentially allocating a third of your revenue to customer acquisition from sales commission, marketing, whatever, right? Imagine buying something for $1,000 or less, and that thing grows your following organically, right? That's one part of it, right? Like I've been buying some NFT projects and my Twitter following has been growing. It's grown more in the last month than it has like the last year, right? It's not big yet, but it's growing organically. I'm not paying to get any of these followers. I just joined an NFT project and then like it's this community energy. Like it's essentially accelerating word of mouth marketing. Like think about it that way. You're accelerating word of mouth marketing, which is why I'm buying the same project because the creativity is super cool. The design, like I'm betting on the artist, like the creativity, but I'm tapping into this community to grow. Sorry, I'm just so stoked right now because it's like growing the brand, right? I'm just letting people in the playbook because this clip is gonna mean something when I have it, right? Like with my, you know what I'm saying? Like this clip is gonna live.
And you're going when I get it. For the people who have never bought an NFT, who don't quite understand the functionality of it, like you're explaining a benefit, but what happens, like, I'm going to break this down to you. Like, Desmond's getting ready to purchase one of, insert number here, offers that are available for a specific company. Now, it's a utility token. So it's a text utility. So the company that's put this together, along with the artist that's created the art, are doing something much, much bigger than intellectual property rights, much, much bigger than growing your following, being a part of specific communities. They have an added value on top of that. Continue, Desmond.
Yeah, that landed. Man, the reason why I keep pushing this stuff, because I'm never going to let this go, is because I think that the applications for NFTs, to me, is the biggest use case right now for crypto outside of DAOs, right? Which is a whole other thing we'll talk about another day. So I really want to make sure that everyone...
Well, we're going to bring Steven on for that.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does for a living. And we'll bring him and Mitchell, we'll get him and Mitchell around when they're on a time zone that's not completely jacked from us. And we'll have them really talk about like the base level education of that.
Man, that'll be sick. Matter of fact, we should just do some special like videos for that. Like I want to do like...
I'll get up at 3 a.m. with you.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do like 2 hours and like have like pre-planned like topics, and then we'll just like cut them into a series, easily digestible series for the channel. Because people need to be aware they're going to get left behind. Like it's really the fact.
But right? Needless to say, when you get into like, it's like what's cryptocurrency and like, so this is a currency and an NFT. You meant currency and you purchase an NFT. They go hand in hand, and we'll bring you guys in some education for stuff like that, because it's not something we teach. It's something we do. But this business is a brick and mortar company that has brought the use case for NFTs into their business to better serve a wider audience at a higher level for a lower price. That's the win. That's the trifecta win. Like it is something that all brick and mortar businesses, I mean, overhead sucks. We all know it. And it's not like you can't control every part of your overhead. Some of it's just like, yeah, and it's not like I can get that anywhere else for you cheaper. I've looked. So they've reinvented how they're doing business in order to bring their overhead down, bring their value up, spike their customer interaction and customer care, and create a massive amount of value and impact in a really big market. That's what utility coins are for. That's what utility NFTs are for.
And
so now, Desmond, you can go gaga over this. Continue.
I'm going to add one last thing. The incentives are aligned, right? I own a piece of the brand when I own this NFT of this business, right? So if this brand 100Xs in the long run, because once again, I want to participate and I want to build my business to last 100 years, 20, you know what I mean? And so if you have a visionary founder or someone with a visionary team running these projects, and you're like, man, the brand is everything, right? Apple's touched $3 trillion this year is because of the brand. They're not creating anything that isn't like that no one else doesn't have. They just have a powerful brand. And Josh, you do this all day, man. It's branding and videos and stuff. Like brand is everything. And so like me getting all these benefits in the short term is great. Like I'm making money really by the end of the year, I'm going to make money from this from an operations perspective. But I'm also like earning a piece of this brand because I believe this entrepreneur is going to build the next Geico, right? He's going to take this boring ass business and he's going to create a powerful brand. I believe in it. That's my personal thing. I believe in him, just like some of my clients believe in me that I'm going to turn my brand into something, but they're actually paying me for service, right? So like that alignment is cool. And that, look, now that I'm going to be an owner, guess what I'm going to talk about for taxes? I'm going to talk about my experience about jumping jacks. So what am I doing? I'm making the brand more valuable, because the more the brand is valuable, the more my asset appreciates. So it's a win-win-win, right? It's a win for the people I'm referring, it's a win for the brand, it's a win for me in multiple ways. I'm winning from all angles, right? I'm saving money, I'm making it. That's why I'm excited, guys. I get excited about making money. Sorry, I get excited about impact. I get excited.
Why are you sorry?
Because I'm about to run through a goddamn wall right now. Like seriously, I'm so stoked right now. Like this is why I love NFTs, like because it's so like, and as crazy as that. I feel like it's like I'm trying to remember stay in abundance with this. Is because like I want to share this because so many people get to get it, but then like my competitive side is like, nah, you guys can stay on the sidelines. I'll swoop these floors, which is floor pricing in NFT jargon, right? Floor pricing is when it goes into the open market after the initial purchases, and the free market decides like, you know, what they're willing to pay for it, and the floor price is the lowest price of the most available NFT or the most available asset. And so when we say floor sweeping, that's when a whale or someone who's sitting on some money who believes in a project comes in and they just like buy them all up and restricts the supply. So we have a ton of people going in and buying up all the NFTs. It's restricting the supply, which then drives the price up, right? And yeah, so we'll keep unpacking that later. But yeah, guys, like look out for those videos. If you're an entrepreneur, like just go down a rabbit, just play, man. Like, you know, this isn't financial advice, but if you got the money to spend, if you got some loose change hanging around, like just like the best way to learn also is to get involved and have some skin in the game. That's kind of how I learned to be completely transparent with you guys. Got skin in the game and kind of learned. I did my research beforehand, obviously, but I really didn't learn until I had money involved, right? Like where I can like, you know, really invest it. It's like when you do anything. So this was a great pod. Had a lot of fun, guys. Man, I can't sleep. I need to go figure out what to do because I just got so excited talking about NFTs. But make sure you like, subscribe, share. If it's something that's really resonating with you, make sure you definitely pass this along with your network. If you're going to come on the show, just go on our website, campfirecapitalism.com, and sign up to be guests. And today we had a doozy. Peace.
Bye.